Hey guys, it's Olivia and welcome back to my channel. So today is the long-awaited, at least for me, characters personalities video. Now, a little bit of background. Ever since I was 13, so 2021? End of 2021, I was really into personality types, which especially Myers-Briggs and the Temperaments. They're two different, and if you don't know, those are two personality type indicators that based kind of on your intuition and how you answer the questions, they'll give you a type or a temperament. Like, I'm just going to give like a small overview of what they both are. If I am wrong, someone correct me because it's been a little bit since I've looked at it, but I love all of it so much. So basically, Myers-Briggs, the 16 personalities, that's another name for it, is basically a personality type indicator, like I said, based on how you answer the questions. It'll give you one of 16 personality types with 4 letters. So those 4 letters can mean very various things. So I'm just going to go through the letters real quick. So first of all, we have the first letter, which is an I or an E, basically introverted or extroverted type thing. So E would be extroverted, I would be introverted, easy. The next is intuitive or a sensor. Intuitive? I think it's intuitive, yeah. So the N is intuitive, which means that you look more big picture and you're not really as detail oriented. At least that's what I usually get from it whenever I look at these. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's you're more big picture. While sensor, you are more detail oriented and you look at the world from a more like fine-tuned detail scale. Next you have F or T, which is feeling or thinking. It's kind of self-explanatory. If you get F, you're more likely to act on your emotions and what you feel is right and your values, when T is more logic-based and, yeah, logic-based, pretty much. I think I don't really need to explain that much more. And then for the last letter, P or J, so P is prospective, J is judging, which is basically, the P means that you're a little bit more messy and you're a little bit more spontaneous, while judging means you prefer more predictability and are more kind of methodical. So that's a short overview of 16 personalities. It's very rushed. If you want to know more, look it up. Really cool stuff. I have been into it for a very long time, so highly recommend. And then for temperaments, which is another thing, it's basically 4 archetypes of temperaments: choleric, sanguine, melancholic, and phlegmatic, and they can kind of mishmash together, and you can have 2 of each, or sometimes people even have 4. It's a whole thing. I'm just going to give you like a quick overview of what each temperament is, just so you have an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm saying it. And yeah, and then I will put all the quizzes that I use to take for my characters and myself down in the description, so if you want to take it yourself, go ahead. Okay, so first of all we have, so for temperament wise, the first temperament I'm just going to go over is melancholic, which basically means you're more secluded, you are more artistic, you're not really judgmental. I feel like that's something that I've heard, but it's not. You're kind of to yourself in a way, and yeah, you're more introverted, you're more artistic, you're more poetic. I feel like I saw somebody, you're most likely to have depression or something, but I don't know. You also are more methodical and organized. That's a big one. I feel like you're very methodical in your thinking and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm explaining these 100% correctly because it's been a while since I've looked at descriptions, but pretty sure I'm right. Okay, and they're one of the introverted types. And then next we have phlegmatics, who are more go with the flow. They're more people pleasers. They are also very introverted types. So yeah, they're go with the flow. They're people pleasers from what I've heard. They aren't really the type to speak out. And they're also an introverted type, so they would rather be alone and things like that. The next is a sanguine, which basically sanguines are kind of with phlegmatics, where they're like go with the flow, but they're also kind of like the life of the party. They are very extroverted and yeah, go with the flow, very extroverted, life of the party type thing, if you get what I'm saying. Pretty cool. Love sanguines. Hi. I'm pretty sure I'm explaining this right. Again, it's been a while and it's just a short overview, so yeah. I would say they're more the life of the party, very go with the flow, extroverted. Yeah. And then cholerics are more, I guess, angry. That's a term that I've seen. They're also an extroverted type. They're very, let's go get things done type people. Like, let's go. Yeah, they're very, what's the word? There's a word I'm looking for. They are very, let's get it done. Basically, exactly what I just said. Domineering. They like being leaders. So, yeah, so those are, and they are also an extroverted type. I don't know if I mentioned that, but the cholerics are also an extroverted. So those are the overview of the temperaments. Again, if you want to know more, I will be putting links down in the description so you can understand what I'm talking about, because I might not be explaining this right. Okay, so here we go. This is a video I've been looking for. So I'm only going to be talking about the characters I have taken personality tests for, which is my mains and a couple of side characters like Nathan and Clover. I have not taken tests for Micah, Franz, or Avalon. Or Sunny. I think I took a test for Sunny once. I never took the temperaments for her. But when I took it for her, it was very early in the book series. It was when I was writing my first draft and she was a very different character. So that is not accurate. Her personality has changed. So I'm just going to talk about the characters I have written down, which are Trinity, Persephone, Atlas, Harold, Mabel, Nathan, and Clover. So I'm going to be talking about 6 characters, and that is it because I literally have no one else. So we're going to just start with Mabel because she's the first character point of view. Oh! And I did Paul. I have done Paul. I don't know his temperament, but I do know his MBTI, so I'm going to put it down. I'll do it as an honorary mention. I'm just going to write it down real quick. Okay. I was just adding a note to myself, too. All right. So let's get on to it. So the first character we're going to start with is Mabel. Her Myers-Briggs is ISFJ, which means that she likes a little bit more predictability, which you can see a lot in the book. She makes decisions based on her emotions, which we can also see a lot in the book. She's pretty introverted, and she's more detail-oriented, which I feel like all of this is seen in the book very clearly, especially when she is first wakes up in Perthel. I think I read like a snippet of that chapter on this channel. Go check it out if you haven't. I'm pretty sure it's titled like chapter snippet or something. One of the first things she does after she talks to Apollo is scan the room and pick out little details. So you'll see Mabel a lot just scanning the area she's in, taking information, which I think is a big sensor quality for some reason, because I would not be doing that. And by the way, my type is an INFP, melancholic phlegmatic. So, a lot of my characters stem from my own personality, so they're going to be similar. Some of them will be very similar to how I act, and all of them have some of me in them. So you're going to see a lot of melancholic phlegmatics, and Mabel is one of them. So Mabel is a melancholic phlegmatic. She's very go with the flow. I feel like she's more phlegmatic, though, because she's a lot more go with the flow than I am. Also, she is very methodical thinker. I feel like she thinks in steps, except when she's panicking. She does not think in steps then, but otherwise I feel like she's a very step-by-step thinker. I could be completely wrong. Wait, yeah, she's a pretty step-by-step thinker. She's like, okay, this, then this, don't think about that, we gotta think about this, we have to keep our mind on track. So she's melancholic phlegmatic, so I love her for that, she's great. The next character I'm looking at is Atlas. So I don't have anything else to say with Mabel, that's why I'm moving on. But, yeah, but Mabel originally was based off myself. So her personality is very similar to mine, except I'm an ISFJ, as you can see. She is more, detail-oriented than I am, and she is definitely more organized than I am, definitely. But those were some later changes. She used to be exactly like me in every way. So next we have Atlas. Atlas is me in the flesh. He is an INFP melancholic phlegmatic, so he's me, basically. He's me. His personality has changed a lot throughout the series. He used to be an ISTP. He used to be an ISTP melancholic choleric, I'm pretty sure, or melancholic dom or something. Melancholic dominant. He's not anymore. He's me. He's me in the flesh. What I mean by that is, like, he is different. In some ways, like, he'll act more than I will, and he is more melancholic than he is phlegmatic. He's a lot more reserved. He isn't really as much go with the flow. He's actually, well, yeah, he isn't as much go with the flow. He's going to resist if he has to, but he doesn't want to make a scene, so most of the time he will stay quiet, which is where that phlegmatic comes in. Also, as I was saying, he is pretty messy. I feel like as a person, like, in Pertho, you don't really have a right to be messy, but then I feel like if he ever gets out of Pertho, he will be the messiest person alive. Like, his room will be a mess, and then he'll, like, clean it, and then it'll become messy again. So he's me in that way. I am a very messy person, and I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying to be organized. I'm working on it, okay? So next is Persephone. Persephone's is probably the most unique type I feel like I have. She is an ENTJ choleric melancholic or a choleric dom. Because choleric dominant, which means that she is a pure choleric. So I was looking through my notes, because I have notes on all of this on my notes app. I was looking through them before I did this so I could write all this down. And it said, like, the quiz I took, I put a note, and it was like, yeah, like, she's a choleric melancholic, but the choleric was over 80, so, like, points-wise for the quiz or whatever, so she might be a choleric dom, but I don't think she's a choleric dom. There's a lot of reasons why I say that. She's a lot more melancholic than we like to think. Yeah, but she is an ENTJ. She is extroverted, which we don't really get to see a lot in this book because she does not leave the facility. And I feel like there's a reason for that will be that is kind of in between the lines, so you kind of have to figure it out. But you don't really get to see the extroverted side of her. But whenever she does talk to people, she enjoys it. I feel like she gets energy from it. And you'll see that part. Her extroversion comes in a lot in book 2, and not so much in book 1. And there's a reason for that. Also, she is very organized. You'll see by the way that she's typing notes. Like, I have her doing that a lot. She's typing notes. She's making sure things are in place. That type of thing. You'll see that a lot with Persephone. She is not so much a big picture person. No, she is a big picture person. I was thinking of censor for some reason. But she is a very big picture person, so you will also not see as much description. If there is description, it'll be very broad descriptions. And also, she looks at things with more logic. So she is a thinker character. You're not going to see as much emotion. If there is emotion, she's going to push it away. She doesn't want the emotion getting in way with her decisions. Like, for example, I'm trying to think if I can think of an example for her. Like, for example, yeah, I can't think of an example. But also, because of that melancholic, who are pretty kind of they're more deeply emotional melancholics, but because of that melancholic, we get to see a little bit of a humanity side of her, I think. She's very sad sometimes, and also we get to see her, like, not as confident as we see her. I don't know if that makes sense, but I love her part just because of the complexities of her personality and writing it. So much fun for me. So cool. All right, so next character, and I literally have nothing else because I literally have nothing else to say about my queen, Persephone. The next character is Harold. So Harold is an INTJ, melancholic dominant. So the thing is about Harold is that you notice he's only the introverted version of his mother, which is very funny, because he thinks a lot. He thinks similarly. He thinks he's very similar to Persephone. He thinks in a way that he's very one-track mind, like Persephone, except he's not much of a choleric, so he's not extroverted. And he also has a similar thought process, but instead of Persephone, who we get to kind of see that thought process play out, you don't see Harold's thought process. Like, he'll be thinking really deeply about something, and he'll just look at you like this. I love him. Yeah, and then also, he is a lot more emotional than he lets on, I feel like. He's emotional, he has emotions, but he, like, stuffs them in because, yeah, that's what you do. If you're Harold, don't do that. That's not a good thing. But he's very, not unemotional, but he just doesn't. He's not the type to show his emotions much. So you're going to see that a lot with INTJ Harold. Also, he's very meticulously organized. He's very, yeah. And he's also very logical. We get to see that a lot. Like, but at the same time, he's not logical. He's not logical to a fault. And that's only when it comes to certain things. Because with those certain things, like, literally, you know. But I don't know, but whatever. But I'm trying to get back to my train of thought because I lost it. But those certain things are really interesting because they're, I guess, about people he loves, I guess is a good way to put it. Because people he loves, like, he'll trust them enough not to let his logic get in the way. Persephone's very similar. So it's just very interesting, and I think it's something to note. You'll see that a little bit in his part where it's like, oh yeah, there's a reason for this, even though there's no logical reason. And we get to see that downward spiral within his part. It's one of my favorite things about Harold's part. I'm so excited. Okay. Yeah. Favorite things about Harold's part. And yes, I still have this by my side. Obviously, I do. Okay, I gotta stop that. Alright, so the last character of my mains is Trinity. So, Trinity's personality is weird. I will tell you why. Because I have taken quizzes multiple times for Trinity. Because I don't know what her personality is. Well, I didn't. I think I figured it out. I think I nailed it down. But it took me years. It took me years. Okay? Because originally she was an ESTP. Myers-Briggs wise. She was an ESTP. And then she was an ENTP. And now she's an ENFP. Which I think fits her. And you may be looking at me like, no, it doesn't. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Because I thought she was a thinker for the longest time. But then I realized she stuffs all her emotions down. We don't know. Her inner thought process, she is very emotional, but she just doesn't allow herself to show it. So, ENFP it is. So she is an ENFP. She's extroverted. She's basically the perfect match to Atlas. I'm just saying. Literally best friends for life. She is a choleric sanguine. Otherwise, so that means, so we get to see a lot of her let's get it done, especially in her part. Like, she's like, let's get it done. I can't sit here. Go, do what you have to do. That's basically her attitude all the time. And then she's sanguine because she can be very happy-go-lucky and then also let things slide. But she's definitely more choleric. Like, you'll see that a lot. She'll start yelling at people. She will go and get into fist fights. It's bad. She also has a lot of anger issues that are unresolved. So, yeah, but she's an ENFP. She's great. I feel like she just go down a rabbit hole about anything that she might be interested in, and Atlas is like right beside her, like, yep, let's do this. And then also Trixie, yeah, Trinity, Trixie, I call her Trixie. Trixie is a lot also like me, because I'm very similar to her in a lot of ways in my let's get it done about certain things, because again, I'm not a choleric. I will probably wait forever to get something done, but at the same time, I have like the let's get it done attitude. I don't know, it's weird. So, yeah, that's Trinity. And then we're going to move on to the other characters. I have 3. I'm going to start with Paul first, because Persephone's boyfriend, must I say more. So I don't have his temperament, because I've never done it for him, but the last time I took the quiz for him, which was a while ago, so I think this changed, but he is an ESTJ, which is, he's extroverted. ESTJs are notoriously very, like, boss type people. So when I took the quiz for him, yeah, he's an ESTJ. He gets angry. He has anger issues, but it's more of that quiet anger, if you get what I mean. Also, he's very logical, and you'll see that a lot. He's logical in a non-logical way. You'll see what I mean when you read the book. But I put a note that said he could be an ESTJ, which he could. He could be more of an introvert. I feel like he's more of an introvert in this book than any other book I've written of him. So I don't know. But if I had to say something, I would be leaning more towards ISTJ. Not ESTJ. ISTJ. I meant to say ISTJ. I would be leaning towards ISTJ, but I'm pretty sure ESTJ is also accurate in some circumstances. So I'll get back to you on that one. The next character is Clover. Clover is literally me, INFP, melancholic, phlegmatic. She is very similar to Atlas also, except she's sweeter than Atlas is. Much sweeter than Atlas is. Yeah, because Atlas is more like, I don't know what Atlas is. But Clover is very sweet. She's very kind. And Atlas is too, but not in the same way she is. So they're very different characters. They just happen to have the same personality type, I guess. I don't know. But they both exemplify me, who also has that same personality type in different ways. And Clover, I think, is especially more methodical, like I am. So, I don't know. And then the last character is Nathaniel. Nathan himself. We love Nathan. Okay, so he is an ESTP sanguine choleric. So he's changed a lot because he used to be an ISTP, a melancholic choleric, and I was like, that doesn't fit, actually. That does not fit. So, yeah, so he is an extrovert, and he's also very, detail-oriented, which I think is really cool. And, sanguine choleric. So, sanguine choleric, yeah, so he's kind of the life of the party. Actually, no, he's a choleric sanguine. Sorry, I miswrote that. And I literally said I miswrote that on my notes. And I didn't catch it. Okay, so he's a choleric sanguine. So he is the life of the party. Like, he will be the life of the party. But he's also has that get-it-done attitude. And we see that a lot, again, in Trinity's part. And that's pretty cool. So I have nothing else to say about the personalities of these characters. I hope you guys enjoyed. And let me know what you think. Thanks.